So I'm sure you would agree that some of the hardest things throughout the day can be things like going to the gym, getting up early, watching what you eat, reading and meditating, staying focused on your work, and not only to do these things, but to do these things consistently. So today we're going to break down 3 brain hacks to develop more self-discipline and make it easier to execute on the items that you know are important for your success and your life. So your mentality and how you approach these various tasks is all controlled by the human brain. The human brain is very cool. It has what's called plasticity. Your brain can change. It can be rewired, reprogrammed, and change over time to develop new habits and new traits. And you can ultimately rewire it however you want to. You can become less jealous of a person. You could choose to become more jealous of a person. You could become more optimistic and positive overall as a person, or you could choose to become more pessimistic. Or ultimately, you can choose to become more disciplined or less disciplined. It all depends on how you approach different situations and how you're programming your own mind. So with these 3 brain hacks and implementing what I'm about to break down, you'll have a massive advantage to actually changing your life for the better and executing on the things that you want to get done and ultimately building the life you want to live. So brain hack number 1 is building momentum. And in my opinion, building momentum is one of the most important things that you can possibly do to execute on your goals and actually achieve what you want in life. So really what this comes down to is creating habits and taking the habits that you already have and just becoming consistent with them. Because obviously if you're able to execute consistently on your goals over time, then you're ultimately going to achieve them and be where you want to be in life, right? But it's a matter of actually implementing and executing on building that momentum. So the way I like to look at momentum is by looking at my weeks and my days. So I set goals with 7-day intervals, 14-day intervals, monthly intervals, and so on. So every Monday, it's always my mission to start off the week in a positive way and start triggering some momentum. So I get my work done Monday, I execute on what I need to get done because I know that this is the first day of the week to start building momentum. So that first day always pushes me to execute. And that brings me to Tuesday. And every single Tuesday, I look back at Monday, and I'm like, okay, I built up all this momentum already from yesterday. I executed on so many of these different things. I got to keep that going, and I got to be better today on Tuesday. And then comes Wednesday, and then comes Thursday. And then ultimately on Friday, you have the momentum built up of executing on your day from all those different days of the week. You executed on your habits. Maybe you got to the gym, you read every day, you meditated every day. You reached out to 10, 20 prospects, you got your homework done. All these days in a row, and that brings you to Friday. And then you have Friday to be ultimately the most productive day of the week because you're working off all of that momentum. But the big problem here is what comes with the weekend. So the weekend was a big point for me, and I see a lot of people as well to take some time off and ultimately lose all of that momentum that you built up to. So Friday, you're a productivity machine because you have all of that momentum. Then comes Saturday, and it's all gone. And then Sunday, and it's still all gone. Coming all the way full circle back to Monday, and you have to start from scratch to build momentum again. And it can be a lot harder because a lot of times you work backwards quite a bit. So you can end up being in a worse position at the start of the next Monday than you were at the previous week. So be conscious of this and take time on the weekends to stick to your goals in at least some capacity. It's definitely important to take time off and step away, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily need to lose momentum. Okay, keep moving forward, stay on track, and still frame your mind at least for a couple hours on the weekend to stay dedicated to your goals, still get to the gym, still read, and maintain your daily habits through the weekend as well, even if you're not doing tons of different tasks. So when you start building this momentum, your brain will just ultimately change and you'll expect to get things done every single day. And it gets easier every single day. So when you have the momentum from Monday and Tuesday, it's a little bit easier to get things done. And then you have Monday and Tuesday on Wednesday, and it's even easier to get things done. And that's why momentum is so key, because momentum fuels motivation. Because the more often you do something and execute consistently, the more motivation you'll have to keep going. Okay? So that's the importance of brain hack number 1, momentum. Brain hack number 2 is to limit pleasure and cause pain. And this all has to do with the mental reward system that we have programmed into our brains and how we activate that throughout the day and what we do. So ultimately, we want to limit the pleasure that we have throughout the day and only use that pleasure strategically. So you want to take dopamine releases and strategically use those to back up and reinforce good habits. So when you maintain focus and you get work done in a certain interval, then you can reward yourself with a break with some food or whatever it may be to get a bit of a dopamine release. And this allows you to use your mental reward system for good. And this also pairs up with momentum as well. And that's what's so cool about these brain hacks, because when you don't use your reward system for good, and you just slack off and you watch YouTube and you play video games, then of course you get so much pleasure out of that, but you're building momentum in the wrong way. So then you're going to be pushed towards watching YouTube and playing video games instead of doing the important tasks in life, like getting to the gym and getting work done. But when you can take that time to focus and actually execute on those things and then reward yourself for that, you're reinforcing the actual work that led to the reward instead of just going straight for the reward as well. So that gives you that instant gratification after accomplishing a task, and then of course also the delayed gratification that comes by getting the important things done, like work, diet, exercise. So that's the importance of controlling your pleasure. But what about pain? So forcing pain onto yourself every single day is something that I've experienced with for a while now, and the results I've seen from it are pretty tremendous. Now, by pain, I don't mean to physically harm yourself, put yourself in a dangerous situation, or anything like that. But by pain, I mean to do something that you absolutely hate doing and force yourself to get that done. So there's a couple things that I do to cause pain. One is taking cold showers. So I absolutely hate taking cold showers. It's a hard thing to do, of course, to turn the water as cold as possible and to sit there outside of the shower waiting to get in, knowing that it's just going to be absolutely freezing. And then, of course, hopping in and getting through the entire shower while it's freezing cold. There's a lot of benefits that come with it, with waking yourself up, obviously, with what it does for your heart rate. The fact that you spend less time in the shower and you can use that time elsewhere because you want to get out of there quick. But the pain that it causes is one thing that is extremely important that you get as a result for taking it. Another thing is forcing yourself to get out of bed immediately. Okay? So it's obviously really painful to force yourself to get out of bed when you could just lay down and go back to sleep. So using a regular alarm is really pointless. You know, people set 10 alarms in the morning and it goes off, they shut it off. The next one turns on, they shut it off, and they just keep snoozing and snoozing and snoozing. And there's a lot of big problems with this. But causing yourself the pain of getting out of bed is not only a painful experience, but it's also rewarding because it's your first win of the day. So using an app like Alarmy is something that's really helped me. So what I would do is I'll set an alarm, and when it goes off, the only way to turn that alarm off is if I scan a barcode. And I actually had that barcode in my bathroom, and I found myself even getting up, scanning the barcode, and getting back to sleep sometimes. So what I did is I changed the barcode and moved it up upstairs into my kitchen. So every morning when I wake up, I have to pick up my phone with the alarm going off, walk all the way upstairs to my kitchen, find that barcode that I need to scan it, and then finally turn the alarm off. So then by the time my alarm's actually off, I'm already up, out of bed, and walked up a flight of stairs, and there's no point in going back to bed at that point. So, of course, those are some things that you can do to induce pain, among some other options, but those are the two that I would definitely recommend starting with, because, of course, you don't want to actually physically harm yourself or anything like that. But what is the point of doing that? So, when you have pain in your life, in your day, doing something that you absolutely hate, it makes other things just not so bad. Other tasks just simply become easier. Sitting down to write that paper, or to launch that campaign, or to read a book, or to take time out of your day to meditate, or to finish that project, whatever it may be, they just become a lot easier because you've already done something that day that's a lot more painful, and this just doesn't feel so bad anymore. So it forces you to change your perspective and how you look at different things, because of course, if you're sitting around all day playing video games and watching YouTube or Netflix, then it's extremely, extremely painful to have to move and sit down and write a paper or get some serious work done. But if you spend your day at the gym and take a freezing cold shower that you absolutely hate doing, then that is the worst part of the day, and it's a lot easier to get those other tasks done. So it's just repositioning your perspective on what's hard to do, what sucks in life, and what doesn't suck so bad, just by putting it in a new perspective. And that has helped me so much. It also really helps to build self-discipline, obviously, because you're forcing yourself to actually do something that you hate. And when you do that consistently, that builds up momentum, obviously, and then ultimately self-discipline. So brain hack number 3 is controlling your environment. Things in this category would end up being like making your bed. Every single morning now, I make my bed. So I get my first win by getting out of bed right away with my alarm, scanning my barcode, coming back downstairs, and making my bed. So there's my first 2 wins of the day, is getting up and making my bed. It also just keeps my room more tidy, more clean, and there's just less distractions there as well. Also with this, of course, is cleaning your room and cleaning your workspace, to not have clutter all over the place, to have it organized, to have it ready and prepped the night before, and just positioned in a way that allows you to execute easier. Doing things like removing toxic food from the house, getting rid of candy, getting rid of sugar, getting rid of crappy foods, and controlling your environment there so you only are able to eat the foods that you know that you need to eat to reach certain health goals and things like that. And you can position this sort of practice into many different aspects of your life. But having control over your environment like that eliminates the need and the temptation to do things that aren't productive and aren't pushing you forward. And then finally here, also to get rid of things in your life that you don't need and aren't bringing you value. I'm sure there's tons of things all over your room, all over your house that you just have for no reason, just taking up space, even though you never use them, you never look at them, and there's no purpose for them in your life, and they don't even provide you value. So taking those items and just getting rid of them, giving them away. Some of that stuff might be able to be thrown out, sell it online. And when you remove that kind of clutter from your life, it just simplifies your life, simplifies your perspective, simplifies everything in your life, and allows you to streamline what you do moving forward. So those are my 3 brain hacks that have really helped me to build consistent self-discipline and execute on my goals. So you should definitely try implementing some of these things in your life, and let me know how it goes. In fact, something else I've talked about in a couple other videos, and this could pair up with controlling your environment a little bit, is using a tool called Google Calendar. You've probably heard of it, you may even use it, but using Google Calendar to keep yourself accountable and tracking these various things throughout the day. Implementing structure into your life to streamline everything moving forward. And it can drastically help to execute on these various items that I just went through, to put structure in your life, to know when you need to get things done, to check off your goals, and to build momentum, limit pleasure, cause pain, as well as controlling your environment. So what I did is I shot a 3-part video series that I'm giving away completely for free that you can find by clicking the link in the description, go.strayedlife.com. Just go to that website, sign up, and you'll get free instant access to that 3-part video series breaking down how to use Google Calendar to explode your productivity and allow yourself to become more disciplined. So I highly suggest you go check that out, start implementing some of these things that I just broke down here today. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions and to let me know how things go for you. And with all that being said, that's all I have for you here today. So signing off for now, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.